The next question here is music halal? This is one of those kind of conundrums that we have in our community where people have turned this into like the gotcha issue of are you religious or not, or what kind of believer you are. In every single, Muslim community, going back to the companions and after, there were always people who held the permissibility of musical instruments in various forms. The more larger, widespread opinion that's accepted is like percussion instruments. There was a lot of people who understood that wind instruments and stringed instruments were not acceptable. The basis for that, the two verses they use from the Quran talk about useless speech and the speech of the devil. Neither one of them mention any word that could be remotely related to actual musical instruments. So the interpretation is actually not even a common interpretation of those two verses among the general commentators on the Quran, other than people who are interpreting Islamic jurisprudence use those verses because they want there to be something. And so that's one of those things that our scholars historically taught us, that if the Quran has not mentioned something, even if it's prohibited in the hadith, shouldn't be seen as such a big deal when we have certain things that have been mentioned in prohibition very clearly and overtly and in many places in the Quran or in the hadith. So in the hadith, the only hadith that really is used as strong has some issues in it, and people have challenged it from a hadith sciences as well as from the actual textual indication. So if you want to listen to music and take the opinion that has existed in every generation, it's like some people think that just because a couple popular common scholars of the last 50, 100 years made that point publicly, they say, oh, these two guys said that. No. There's literally hundreds throughout history that are well known from each school of thought, even though the official school of thought of the four schools of thought is the position is prohibition. But like Imam Al-Dhahabi wrote the book called Al-Kaba'ir, the major sins. And that's seen as like a very quantitative book that gives you the clarity about 70 plus major sins. He doesn't put music anywhere in there, right? So that is there's 70 other things you should be very much concerned about. A lot of the people who are saying, oh, that person listens to music, they on that list of 70 have not even, paid attention because they've turned this into a thing. So the position is, if any music has immoral messaging and it's themed in something that is sinful, then of course by consensus of Muslim scholars, whether it has musical instruments or it's just poetry or it's just some guy talking, it's haram to listen to that, right? So you don't sit there and listen to filth and entertain yourself with filthy language or language that glorifies sinful behavior, right? But if you have language that is either neutral or general or good, and the type of music has a decent melody and it's positive and uplifting, that's okay and acceptable to that opinion. But to listen to these nasheeds that have musical instruments with it, where you're hearing things about Islam and prophethood and faith, that's a good thing. Like, I don't see how you could justify saying that's evil because of what everybody that listens to it finds in their heart and mind about faith.